Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another session of our Student in the Workplace Virtual Connection. So welcome if this is the first time that you're joining us, and welcome back if you've joined us for one of these already. My name is Anne. I work at the Northwest Tri-County Intermediate Unit, and we are offering these sessions in partnership with Northwest PA Job Connect, so very grateful for their support. For today's session, we have Katie Ramey. She is the owner and operator at Nick's Place in Edinboro. She's going to tell you all about what she does, what Nick's Place is. If you are local, you probably know what Nick's Place is. If you are not local to Edinboro, you might not, and she's going to explain that all to us. Before we get started, just a few logistical things. We will have a Q&A open throughout this session. If you are interested in submitting questions, you're going to navigate to the top right-hand corner. There's a little button that looks like a chat box with a question mark in it. If you click on that, you can submit a question. It'll open up a little box for you to do so. So feel free to submit questions at any time. We'll probably get to them towards the end of our time together, but make sure that we get any questions answered. Without further ado, I'm going to send Katie live and we're going to get started. Welcome, Katie. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity this morning. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you. So let's start with just the easy question. So what is your job? What do you do? And tell us about what Nick's Place is.
Awesome. Well, we are a family business. We actually have 3 businesses. Nick's Place is a banquet facility, and then we have Sunview, a family entertainment center, and then the Seasons Inn, which is a small guest inn. And I get to do a million different things. That's really what I love most about my job. Every day is totally different. I do a lot of the wedding coordinating at Nick's Place, and we are starting our 30th year, so we are very excited about that. Time certainly does fly.
Yes, absolutely. So you mentioned your family-owned business. Can you talk a little bit about what that means and what that means for you guys specifically?
Yeah, so I am second generation. I grew up with my brother and sisters in the family business. And we all do have different jobs in the business. Everybody takes care of little separate divisions, which is really awesome. And then we have an awesome crew, which we call our family, our extended family, that help us. We have a lot of younger people that support all of us, and they're an awesome crew. So we kind of go through seasons, obviously. The miniature golf course closes because the snow flies. And then obviously this year has been a little challenging for gatherings and stuff, but we have adapted and made some changes. Some of our weddings this year were totally outside, which was a new aspect. And then obviously some did reschedule for next year, so we're looking forward to a great new season for next year. And the inn kind of works off of Nick's Place. Obviously, when we have guests in town for the wedding, people stay there, but then also tied in with the university and our town, we get a lot of nice business from our area.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know you said you wear many hats, which I think makes a lot of sense based on everything you've already told us. But on maybe, let's go with a typical week instead of a typical day. I know every day is going to be different, but what are some of your major responsibilities? So wedding coordination, but what else fills your time as your responsibilities?
We are lucky enough to have other events a lot of times during the week at Nick's Place. So there's a lot that goes into planning a party. You start sometimes, if you're bride and groom or a couple, years out planning it. So I do a lot of initial contacts showing our facility and then helping to plan the events as they come. And then the week of, we do stuff like food ordering and getting linens in. So a lot of linens getting, like I talked about, our nice family or our employees to support the events, getting them all scheduled. And then being there for the people that are hosting the party, because there's a lot that goes into it. And we say our theme is we want to make it your best day ever. So just being with them and actually being able to celebrate, which is an awesome thing that I get to do with them.
Yeah. Oh, I think we're having a quick technical issue. It'll bounce back in a second if people aren't seeing the screen. There we go. Sometimes that happens, and that's yeah, and that's our world right now, right?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of talked about that. You know, obviously some changes that occurred to because of everything that's going on with COVID. You know, that's another thing. Like every day you have to be kind of innovative and thinking of what your next step could be, because you are getting to work for yourself, work for your family. And so you really want to be on the cutting edge of making everything possible and making it go great for your guests.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point in a direction that I think we definitely wanted to go, is that, you know, this idea of working for yourself, right? And that's not, you know, that's not going to be everyone's kind of career pathway, but can you maybe talk about what you really like about that, but what are also the challenges of that too?
Absolutely. So you can, to some degree, you can make your own schedule. Obviously, you know, I wouldn't be taking off a Saturday that a couple is getting married, but if, you know, some afternoon, I have 2 boys, so if they had something going at school, I do have flexibility in my schedule there. So that is definitely a nice thing. And also, you are working for yourself, so you want to be very driven and work hard, and you also get to kind of choose your own path and make your own direction, which I think is awesome personally. And like you said, that's not maybe for everyone, but it is very beneficial. You know, I know as a family, we all very much so enjoy that.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you always know or feel like you would follow in the family business? Was that always in the cards for you?
Well, it started when I was 10. So that, you know, that is a good chunk of my growing up. I was going to go to Allegheny College for early decision for pre-law. I had made my commitment, and then I guess reality just kind of was like, whoa, you know, we have all of this going on right around us. So I did transfer and actually end up going to Mercyhurst College, it's now university, for hotel restaurant management, because that seemed to be a better position. Certainly, you know, you wouldn't have to necessarily go to college you could do some high school training or even on the job training for a lot of what I do. So that is a very nice thing. And also, there's also continuing education that always is going on with my job. I just finished up. You had to do a course for, like, it's called Serve Safe, because you need to have a person in charge when you have you're serving food, so you need to have that. So I just finished up that class, and in the spring we did a COVID food safety serving class. So there's always continuing education that goes along with what we do. So that is very neat. I do enjoy that.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a lot of great points. One, I think, you know, the fact that you started out thinking pre-law and now you're in the role that you're in and did hotel management, but that, you know, maybe that's okay, right? It's okay if we change our minds. And I think that's a great message for our students to hear, because I think a lot of students graduate at 17 and 18 and really feel like they have to know, and that's it. Yeah.
Definitely.
So a great story to hear. And then also just this idea that, you know, even after we get our jobs, we're going to be constantly learning, right? There's always going to be something new. No one predicted this pandemic, and you're learning new things on how to operate under that, right?
Right. Yeah, and I think that that's also a nice thing too. You have to always be positive and looking towards the future and what will make every day just, you know, better for obviously you as an individual, us as a company, us as a family, and us, like, even in our community. So yeah, that is awesome. I think, you know, too, like with the pandemic, obviously, we're all like kind of assessing, but we just take one day at a time, you know, and that's how we kind of do best with that.
Right. Right. And probably the best we can do right now is one day at a time, right? Given everything that's going on. So Katie, can you talk about some of maybe these essential career skills or soft skills that you feel like are necessary for someone in your position, maybe managing, operating, owner, that would make you successful?
Absolutely. I definitely think education of working in the position is how you learn the most, honestly. But outside skills, taking on like different, like even online classes to benefit. I did a couple of those in the past, and I think that they are very helpful as well. We have, you take care of everything kind of like from human resources to ordering food. So you get in a routine and a pattern, so you know what you do, but always bringing in just a little something to innovate and change and go a new path, I think is always helpful as well.
Yeah, definitely. And you've hit on some things too that I think we've heard a lot of. One, it sounds like, being organized is important, but being able to work with, work with a team and manage everybody that you work with. And we've heard those kind of things a lot. And so I imagine those are important for you as well.
Absolutely. And dealing with the people and working with the public, you have to just always, you don't know what someone else is dealing with within their own day. So just always being positive and supportive to the people that you work with, and listening and caring is so very important. And then also with our customers as well, because everybody faces their own challenges.
Yeah, I think you bring up some great points, like listening and being able to work with customers. If you're working with customers on any level, those customer service skills are going to be important. They're going to be what makes you good at what you do and get a good reputation, right?
Absolutely. We strive for, absolute perfection in what we do, because we care about, again, it comes back to it's our business, it's our family, and we want to have an awesome reputation, and so you work hard to maintain that. We were very excited just a couple weeks ago. We won like Erie's Choice for wedding venues. So those are such, that means like so much. Obviously, there's a million great places that you could get married in our area, but being chosen, it's like, oh, makes your heart feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to be great to know that, your customers and clients obviously had a really positive experience at Nick's place.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, congratulations on that too.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I just want to mention, because I think we had some folks maybe log in a few minutes after we started, just reiterate where that Q&A is. So it's in the top right-hand corner. It's a little chat box with a question mark on it, should you have questions. But I'm going to start with one. Katie, can you talk about what your favorite event was, or favorite something that's happened?
I couldn't certainly pick out as a favorite. I mean, we definitely enjoy all of our weddings. We usually have up to 3 a weekend, which is awesome. And everybody, that's another thing. A lot of times when we have repeat family business, like if 2 sisters got married and over the time they both get married at Nick's place, no day is ever the same. So I say, people have all their own separate ideas, which come together and make it like, it's crazy how different, even though the same, the parties can be. So that is a great aspect of what we do. We do just a lot of community events too, which I always enjoy. Just seeing our local people kind of come. We do class reunions, and so having everyone just be together and gathering is so awesome. I know that really people gathering, that is our focus, even though we're not doing it as really a lot right now, but we will come back to that, because that is a fundamental thing as humans that we do. So just being involved in those celebrations are totally awesome.
Yeah. I can totally see how bearing witness to all of those sort of happy moments would be such a positive thing, getting to see that. You see a lot of good, I assume.
Yes, yes, definitely.
So can you talk about, if we could, maybe even just addressing the students directly, if they're interested in something like hospitality or event planning, what are some things maybe they could be doing right now in high school that you think would help with that?
Quite honestly, just getting a job in the industry. I remember in college, one of my professors, he had a great story that he started, as a dishwasher in the restaurant that he actually came to own, which I thought was, just so amazing. That story always really sticks with me. And, it's like he would always say, really, dishwashing is the most important, one of the most important jobs if you do own a restaurant, because if you get a dirty plate, you're so unhappy. So it's just working up from looking to what you enjoy right now, and then working up as time progresses.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah. It's just like one of those things that, it really sticks with you. Like, every little aspect builds to make a great opportunity. So definitely looking around. And if anyone is interested that's listening, we are always looking to join our Nick's Place family, we call it. So I would definitely love if anyone wanted to get in touch. Obviously, we're having a little slower season because of winter now, and then kind of COVID. But once our spring comes, we'll be getting going. And we do have, that's another thing. We have a lot of different places that you can work, whether it be at the inn or at Sunview at the Family Entertainment Center. So there's always lots of different opportunities. If you don't necessarily see that you're a fit to maybe working at a job at Nick's Place, we have other places that you can bounce to.
Yeah, would you mind elaborating on that a little bit? Just what are all of the opportunities at Nick's Place, or I guess across the three?
Sure. So obviously at the season's in, I said it was an inn. So we do front desk kind of greeting, and then there's people that help us take care of, because we serve breakfast in the morning. So someone that takes care of that. And then obviously, actually one of my favorite jobs is cleaning. So cleaning, it's amazing. You feel such a reward from cleaning, I do at least. And then we have at Sunview, which is basically open from March to October, if it's a good spring. That's just a lot of customer service too, like you mentioned. So super friendly, and again, a great environment because people are there to have fun. So just kind of helping them with getting the equipment that they need, and obviously any questions that they have, taking care of that.
Yeah. And what do you think makes a good employee where you work?
Well, different positions, all different the way that they handle things, obviously, but most of all being friendly. And if you're not sure how to do something, just asking, because another story I had one time relates back to when I was in school. Someone said, they said, "Oh, I need you to mop the floor," to their employee. And the employee it's not that they didn't do a good job, but it's not that they didn't do a good job because they didn't want to do a good job. They didn't know how to mop the floor correctly. Quite honestly, as simple as saying, "Hey, I'm not sure how to do this skill, but could you just show me how?" goes so much further than just not doing it, doing a good job. So just asking, always wanting to know, if you're not sure, you just ask, And we're always very supportive of, just because you don't, when you go into a position, you don't know everything. But if you ask, people will give you directions and receive them cheerfully and then move forward.
Yeah, and I think that's fantastic advice, because for anyone listening on the call, I think any adult would say in any position that on any given day, we don't know it all, right? I'm still asking questions. I'm sure you are as well.
you rely on your support system, and whether it be a boss or someone who just has done it before, and you just check with them, and then you do know.
Right, exactly. So I think that's a great piece for everybody on the call to hear, because I would relate to that on a personal level, and I think that's for you, just as a kind of a boss and a leader, communicating that that's something that you value as well. Obviously shows like what a great place to work Nick's Place could be, because that's your values and your philosophy.
Yeah, and you want to always be supporting someone and bringing them up and giving them great skills to move forward. Hopefully they stay with us for a long time, but
yeah.
Going out, obviously.
Yeah. Well, when you mentioned moving up, do you have examples of, people who maybe did move up, or how them being good at their entry-level job helped them move forward?
Yeah, absolutely. So we basically, how we kind of bring people in is always working. Nick's Place requires a lot of people. So we bring people in to work with us at Nick's Place first, and then kind of at that point they branch off and you go to Sunview and you go to the inn, kind of not where you're working ever on your own, but it's kind of a more independent location. So we're always just a phone call away or steps away, but they're kind of on their own. So they come and they're with us a little bit, a couple seasons, a lot of times at Nick's Place, and then they go to our other locations. Still always bouncing back to be at Nick's Place, because it's nice to all be working together. But that is nice, and we're always super excited when we have people start with us in high school and then kind of go through all the way until they're done with college and kind of move on to what their plans are. And we have had people obviously stay with us for quite some time as well. I often joke and say, okay, I'm going to need you to sign your contract that you're going to stay with us for the rest of your life now.
Yeah, well, and you had mentioned this kind of earlier on in our conversation, but if we could reiterate, is a college degree required to work in this field and work where you work?
I definitely not. It was important to me for sure, but there, like I also said, just kind of continuing education and your daily experiences, which lead to kind of progressing in our industry, I believe. And also work at, kind of going out on your own and being creative. Definitely online support, which we have a lot more now than 30 years ago when our family got started. But yeah, just kind of doing your daily work is, I feel, what's key. Definitely not putting down like the education, obviously, because the college degree was important to me, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of our goals of these sessions is to show that there's sometimes multiple on-ramps and avenues to get to different careers and positions. And so, it might be college for some, and it might be that on-the-job training for others, and everything in between, right?
Absolutely. I know that kind of, in high school, I don't know so much anymore, but focus towards like the food industry and stuff, there was a little bit. So I think that that's a great aspect too. I think that way, if you look at a lot of different aspects, you kind of can focus on what your path is to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of piggybacking off of that, and forgive me because I don't know if there's an answer to this, but are there like certifications or trainings out there that high schoolers could be doing now to prepare for a career in food management, anything in there?
Absolutely. One of the major corporations is called ServSafe, and so they offer trainings often. So like definitely going into, if someone came to us and they were already ServSafe certified, I'd be like, wow, that's awesome. So taking that up. Obviously, we do deal with some alcohol too, so there's RAMP certification that goes with that, and just all those like titles that you get under your name with those certifications are definitely helpful.
Yeah, so none of them can hurt, I don't think.
Absolutely. No, you're right.
Yeah. So as we're kind of wrapping up here, I want to give us time just for our final question that we ask of every one of our presenters here, for especially our high schoolers out there who are starting to navigate, what comes next and are really trying to figure out all of the choices in front of them, what piece of advice would you give them as they're trying to make these choices?
Like you had kind of said earlier, you might think that you're going to go in a direction and then you'll have something inspire a change. So just always being open-minded and positively looking towards finding what interests you, I think is so very important. Just even in daily aspects, like if you do something and you're like, wow, that was amazing, then follow up with what was behind that you really enjoyed about it. And, obviously, like I had said, we would love to invite anyone who is in our area to kind of even come in with me for a day or a couple days and just kind of see what I do, just to kind of help with giving some guides to what people might enjoy for their careers.
Yeah, and what great advice and what a great opportunity. So thank you so much for putting that on the table. I think getting those experiences, just job shadowing and seeing what somebody does can be so beneficial, because you can read about it on paper or hear about it face to face, but until you're watching it happen, you don't always know.
Absolutely. Yeah, just seeing it, being involved in it. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much again. Katie, we're going to wrap things up here, but any last words for our folks on the call, or anything else you'd like to share?
No, just thank you so much for the opportunity. And obviously, just attitude truly is everything. So just go about your daily life with a great outlook, and things will kind of unfold for you.
Well, I certainly appreciate that, and I really appreciate you, Katie, spending the last 30 minutes with us, answering questions and telling us all about what you do, and obviously presenting the opportunities that you did. We really, really appreciate that. Thank you to all of our students and teachers who are on the call. Thank you for joining us. And as always, you can keep an eye on our website. It's where you got the link for today's session. So keep an eye on that. We've got plenty of these coming up over the next month until the middle of December. So you'll probably be seeing us again. Thank you all for joining. And one final thank you to Katie.
Thank you so much. Everyone have a great day.
Awesome.